rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic futurist host Dirk God Raven Mac, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Dirk God Raven Mac. Welcome back, week 3, Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We are here at our illustrious abandoned concrete factory at the edge of town, perhaps a future data center for all I know. Hopefully not. Anyways, this is week 3. How this works: 27 competitors from across the political spectrum will be out in this thing, 2 at the opening bell. 1 comes out every minute. After that, you get eliminated by being tossed over the top rope or pinned or submitted. You get a point for eliminating an opponent, and the final 4 out of the 27 people get bonus points. So obviously it's better when you come out later. And what all this means is they're adding up points. It's a 7-week series, so the first 6 weeks, we're in week 3, so this will be halfway through that 6 weeks. You're accumulating points for that 7th round finale, and that 7th round finale will be the top 27 point getters in the first 6 weeks coming out in reverse order, and that will determine who is the champion of the discourse for winter 2026. Our primary sponsor for Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse Winter 2026 series is going to be Catbird Enterprises. Catbird, of course, came through starting last week. We love Catbird. And we do What's the Word, Catbird, but we don't actually have a word today. So what happened with Catbird? So I've recently gotten a subscription to the print edition of the New York Times. It's the only newspaper I can find that actually has content in it, like actual full articles. I can't really support local papers because they're all owned by the same international company that has just gutted them all. And not that New York Times is great, but the cool thing about the print version is I can go deeper into articles. I read much better. The things the algorithm forces at me, there is no algorithm when I'm sitting in a chair in my living room thumbing through the paper, and I can skip the op-ed pages, which I know that's one of the biggest gripes against the New York Times, and I am right there with you. But I can just completely skip the op-ed pages, and that saves me a lot of pain and suffering and anger and frustration. But I say all this because I had the paper with me when I got here earlier tonight, and Catbird came in, and I didn't know Catbird used to deliver newspapers. Catbird took my paper. He took the business section, because I don't really read the business section. He took the business section, folded it up, and made me this awesome newspaper hat, man. It is pretty cool, and apparently he knows how to do that. I mean, he did it it was like 5 folds and he was done. It was crazy. But I'm not wearing it because I can't fit my headphones for the monitor here while I'm wearing the hat, but I got it sitting here beside me, and I'm going to be wearing that newspaper hat when I go home. We say thank you to Catbird. Secondary sponsor could be you. Hit me up, help support all I do, which I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. I am a chaos monkey, and I don't know, man, but just support me if you can. Anyways, our standings after 2 of 7 events, you can see that Mar-a-Lago guest is at the top of the board. That is kind of painful. The free thinker who won last week is at 2nd. Donald Trump there, 9 points, is in 3rd. Zohran Mamdani and Luigi appeared last week. They got 8 points. The immigrant, Bernie Sanders, reply guy. You can see everybody else there. So let's go on up to the ring, and it's Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, everybody. And you can see that Hakeem Jeffries and Clarence Thomas were bipartisanly chosen to be our referees today. And coming out first is the Mad King himself, Donald Trump, of course, writing crazy, threatening letters to Norway that because he didn't get a peace prize, he now was no longer thinking peacefully. That man is tripping out about Greenland, and I get tired of hearing people say that it's a distraction from the Epstein files because he is a sexual predator and he just does whatever the hell he wants. And speaking of sexual predators and doing what the hell they want, here comes Bill Clinton, former president. So we have Trump and Clinton going at it one-on-one here, the Epstein brothers, so to speak. Kind of wonder which one of these guys has had more cases of sex with underage girls, which means non-consensual when you're underage because you're not old enough to consent. Wonder which one has had the most of those affairs. Wonder how many people they both have had affairs with. It's really kind of disgusting when you think about it. And I love when Republicans are like, it's going to grab Bill Clinton. Bro, I do not care, man. Any of these guys who are doing this stuff, throw them away. But Trump is the man in power now, and he is acting like a basically like a sexual predator who's never been told no, except for he's doing it on the world stage. And unfortunately, in America, nobody actually resisted him. The Republican Party became his co-signer, pretty much, his lackeys. The Democrats have not actually resisted in any meaningful way. They're just performatively resist for the theater of voting, but they haven't actually resisted him at all. So he's instituted fascism in America and now is doing it on the world stage, to where the woman from Venezuela, here comes Gavin Newsom, number 3, and I'm not going to change my stream of consciousness for him. That woman from Venezuela gave her Nobel Peace Prize to Trump, which is just the most whack-ass thing ever. And we're now waiting for other countries to stand up to him. Nobody in America stood up to Trump, so now we wait for someone else in the world to stand up to him. EU is kind of stiffening up against these tariffs and the Greenland stuff, but we'll see what happens, man. The world could just go to shit because of one demented, sexual, predatory asshole who nobody bothered to stand up to. And that's what we're looking at. Anyways, we've got Trump and Clinton in there, the Epstein brothers, and Gavin Newsom, who probably would have been on an Epstein list if he had been around the right time. And coming in fourth is J.D. Vance, that little fake Appalachian from Ohio. Proof positive that not all crack babies are tragic. I mean, I guess J.D. Vance is a tragedy of some sort. Well, we got 4 people in here, and I am feeling myself. It is MLK Jr. Day. Of course, you know he was an anti-capitalist, as many people are pointing out this year, finally, which is good to see. And they did not assassinate him until he was organizing for class solidarity across racial lines. And Gavin Newsom actually eliminates Donald Trump, so the old demented shitbird himself got eliminated first, so that's a good thing to see at least. At least we get that today. And we get a buzzer. Somebody's going to come join Clinton, Gavin Newsom, and J.D. Vance. And it is that little troll Hitler, Stephen Miller. Here he comes. The thing I love about these guys like Stephen Miller who want to institute this, and J.D. Vance too, that want to institute this like white supremacist vision of a great homeland, is like Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance are not going to be hauling cinder blocks for a building site. These guys, like, they break a sweat looking at a QR code menu, you know? They are not going to be doing the hard work that needs to be done, nor are they even smart enough to do it. And that's the thing that we don't always realize when we've been poisoned with this meritocracy, which that's what those ladders are there for. Those are meritocracy ladders for the meritocracy myth, is we think these people are smarter than the average person, but they're really not. They're really fucking stupid. Well, we get a buzzer, and here comes AOC, maybe even it out a little bit. We got Bill Clinton, Gavin Newsom, and right now J.D. Vance has got a neck hold on Bill Clinton. Gavin Newsom is out there. Stephen Miller going after AOC right away. Nails Clinton. And now Stephen Miller getting some shots in on J.D. Vance. Good old Discourse. Man, do I love having to come into this cold-ass abandoned concrete factory on a Monday night. If it wasn't for Catbird, I'd probably try to find somebody to pick a fight with. Nice shot there upside Clinton's head with the microphone by Stephen Miller. And we got a buzzer as Clarence Thomas climbs the ladder for some reason and flips off. And it's the lady cop. So the lady cop had been one of our referees the first 2 weeks. Not a referee duty tonight, so lady cop is out here as a competitor. And she's swinging that baton but hadn't hit anybody yet. And there's a pin. Gavin Newsom eliminates Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton goes second. Trump went first, then Clinton. So the Epstein files have not been released. I think we all know what's probably in there. And the Epstein brothers were the first 2 kicked out. There's a 2 count on AOC by the lady cop. Gavin Newsom, California governor, still out there. J.D. Vance still out there. Stephen Miller. We get a buzzer, and it's the Proud Boy. The Proud Boy. Of course, that January 6th protester, rioter, whatever the hell he was, got pardoned by Trump. So that Proud Boy is back out here doing whatever the hell he wants. Yeah, one thing I will say about that January 6th thing, it was an actual resistance. They were actually resisting. They're crazy as hell, but they were resisting at least. A lot better than this milquetoast Democratic Party. Strongly worded tweets about fascism. Ain't gonna do it, man. Ain't gonna do it. Somebody's got to get out there and fight. And we get a buzzer. And speaking of getting out there and fighting, here comes the Ice Goon. Of course, he was definitely in the news last week for the shooting of Renee Good. He's still out here wrecking people's lives, ripping people out of cars. Lots of reports of cars abandoned across the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul as ICE is just yanking people out of their cars. Of course, there's no due process, no knowing if this person actually doesn't have their paperwork if you're ripping them through a window. Very proud of all the rural don't tread on me types around me who've been talking about jackbooted thugs for decades and aren't doing shit right now. Y'all are real hypocritical pieces of shit. And we get a buzzer. And it's Ilhan Omar, of course, directly affected by all this. Somali American congresswoman from the Twin Cities. Of course, it is the Somali community that was... Well, look at that. Stephen Miller jumps Ilhan Omar off that ladder right away and eliminates her before she even gets settled. So a targeted elimination there by Stephen Miller. Par for the course for him. And there's a pin on AOC by the Ice Goon. So AOC is eliminated. And another pin over there on the side, and that was Lady Cop eliminated by, I couldn't see who pinned it. It might have been Stephen Miller, I think. Bob, my producer, Mr. Bob Dabalina, you want to get some video on that? Make sure we give the right point to the right person? Okay, thank you, Bob. Just making sure, buddy. Don't get mad. So we get a buzzer. Coming out is last week's winner, the Free Thinker. The Free Thinker joins the Ice Goon, the Proud Boys, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, and Gavin Newsom. There's your discourse right now, and that is quite a shit show. Quite a shit show of perspectives. Sorry, I had to drink some water there. I was so disgusted by everything. And there's a pin on Stephen Miller, 2 count. J.D. Vance almost got him, but Miller kicks out. So we've got Gavin Newsom, J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller, the Proud Boy, the Ice Goon, the Free Thinker, and coming to join him. Well, here we go. Free to heavy hangers is Ghislaine Maxwell. Speaking of the Epstein files, Ghislaine Maxwell is out on work release this week, I guess, and she has entered the discourse. And she's going right after Stephen Miller. Nothing going there. Setting up one of those meritocracy ladders. And, it's kind of feel bad for Ghislaine Maxwell because, obviously she was probably exploited by her own father into this whole thing. But then you become an adult and you become an exploiter yourself. And at some point, the traumas you endure do not justify the traumas you dish out. But she is out here in a more comfy, cozy, lighter security prison. Obviously getting to come out here and join this. And here comes Pam Bondi, Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General. And there's a pin. The Ice Goon has eliminated Stephen Miller. Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, coming out, who is supposed to have released those Epstein files, but has not. Of course, won't, because they haven't finished doctoring them all. So I certainly hope whoever was dumb enough to give the government the Epstein files back that bad boy up somewhere. Where's Julian Assange when you need him? And Pam Bondi prims the Proud Boy. I didn't know Pam Bondi could go after the Proud Boy. I thought that was against the rules, but she eliminates the Proud Boy, which shows she could actually do it if she wanted. And it looks like Gavin Newsom has been busted open in there, and Ghislaine Maxwell is all on him. Pam Bondi flipping the Free Thinker. And we've got a buzzer. And Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Secretary of War. What a dumbass that guy is. He's another guy that's not going to tote cinder blocks. Like, that guy being in charge of the army is quite comedic because he thinks all these people are just going to do whatever he says, even though he's never done anything anybody has ever told him. It's just these guys at the top are just all so fucking weak, man. Like, they're not even weak in, like, a normal therapeutic sense. They're weak in a toxic masculine sense, too. And there's a pin on Pam Bondi. Maxwell eliminates Bondi. That's an interesting turn of affairs. And we get a buzzer, so someone else is going to come join us. And it's going to be the podcast grifter. And it looks like the free thinker fell out the ring after a kick from Maxwell. So free thinker is not going to repeat. Podcast grifter has some words out there for Pam Bondi in the aisle and comes in right after J.D. Vance. Podcast grifter, of course, making his fortune compromising all his morals. I mean, there are no morals left for some of these guys. They've all been compromised to the diminishing returns of wealth. And there's a pin on J.D. Vance by the Ice Goon, but the Vancer kicks out. Of course, you can see Gavin Newsom over there is bloodied up. Pete Hegseth and the podcast grifter going after each other. We've got somebody coming out to join it, and from the south side of Facebookistan, it's the Reply Guy. So we've got 7 folks in there. No idea how many are left coming out. I haven't been keeping track this week, sorry. I don't care. And Gavin Newsom has got some sort of sleeper hold on Maxwell, all up on her ass. Pete Hegseth and the Reply Guy both saluting a ladder for some reason. And there's a pin on J.D. Vance by the podcast grifter, only a 2. Reply Guy going after Maxwell. Podcast grifter going up that ladder. And he comes off and does nothing, but then punches the Ice Goon over the top rope. Pete Hegseth. Reply Guy got rid of Pete Hegseth. And here comes Jasmine Crockett. That Democratic Congresswoman from Houston, Texas, Jasmine Crockett, always got thinking, and she swings that chair, and Ghislaine Maxwell gets tossed. And then there is a pin. Reply Guy pins J.D. Vance. I believe that was Reply Guy. Bob better check that one too. So Jasmine Crockett comes in, and all sorts of things are happening. Of course, Jasmine Crockett, she's not afraid to say what's on her mind. You like to see it. So just to reset the field here, Jasmine Crockett over there off the top rope. Gavin Newsom still out there. The Ice Goon is still out there. Podcast grifter and Reply Guy. And we will get a buzzer here and somebody join these 5. And it's the alpha male influencer. This alpha male influencer, you've probably been force-fed him on the algorithm in the podcast grifter. Pinned by Jasmine Crockett. So Jasmine Crockett takes out that podcast grifter. So that alpha male influencer, of course, he is forced to you on the algorithm. You see him plenty of times. He's made $37 million since 2021, apparently. And Clarence Thomas with a Hurricane Rana on the podcast grifter. I don't know what's going on over there. I guess they're mad he hadn't left the ring. I'm not sure. Gavin Newsom still bloodied up, thrown into that ladder by the Ice Goon. And we got a buzzer coming to join is the prompt engineer. Oh my goodness. Don't forget, folks, degenerative artificial intelligence is still out here wreaking havoc on the power grid so that stoners can have their stupid ideas turned into reality, even though it's a false and lesser reality than what's real. But hey, why would we stop cyber libertarian stoners from living out their delusions? Jasmine Crockett and Reply Guy locked up right now, and Reply Guy flips her. Gavin Newsom's still out there fighting. The Ice Goon's out there. Both of those guys have been out there for a while. That prompt engineer just threw one of those briefcases into Clarence Thomas's face. Of course, those briefcases are filled with lobbyist money. We got a buzzer, and it's the immigrant. So the immigrant's coming out. He who has caused so much fear and loathing amongst the right-wing masses, the immigrant, who actually will tote those cinder blocks.
All those cinder blocks these assholes won't tote, all the rebar they won't set, all the concrete they won't pour, all the horrible, low-paying jobs that white people won't do, the immigrant takes care of. And look, man, I'm a white guy who worked construction for like 10, 15 years. I'm lazy as hell now, man. I am not doing that shit with no serious urgency whatsoever. So you either got to change the way our society is and slow it completely down, or if you want it to be like fast-paced, everything built right away, you're going to have immigration. That's all it is to it. Well, looky here. Making his debut in this season is Gregory Bovino, that demented cartoon bozo who heads ICE. And there's a reply guy pinned by the alpha male influencer. I gotta say, I'd really like to see Gregory Bovino's face get smashed in. So we got 7 people out there right now, and I don't really feel like recapping it right now. Well, let's recap it. Gavin Newsom's still out there, California governor. The Ice Goon and Gregory Bovino, the immigrant, the prompt engineer, the alpha male influencer, and Jasmine Crockett. And coming to join them is Zohran Mamdani. Of course, he made it down to the end of week 1. Can't remember if we saw him last week. He might not have been here last week. New York City mayor. Of course, Sharia law has already been instituted in New York City. That's not true. Not true at all. All the people who would never go to New York City refuse to go now because they were already scared. Now they're double scared. Gavin Newsom and Zohran Mamdani going at it. Bovino nails Jasmine Crockett, probably looking to deport her because she's not white enough. Pushes her in the corner, goes for it. Now the Ice Goon and Bovino are locked up. The alpha male influencer pins the prompt engineer, and the Ice Goon tosses Gregory Bovino. So the Ice Goon with a little discord, and Gavin Newsom got pinned in there by somebody. You're going to have to check the replay on that, Bob, because I didn't see that at all. And now the immigrants pinning Jasmine Crockett, but she kicks out. So, man, we had a few eliminations there. An NYT op-ed writer, who I mentioned that I skip over. I make sure to skip over in the print version because it's just not worth poisoning my brain with his idiotic nonsense. But, of course, he came out after Mamdani to tell you how socialism could never work. The immigrant's still out there. The alpha male influencer still out there. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and the Ice Goon is still out there. So we've got 6 folks out here. We have 4 slots left. So 4 slots left. And the immigrant pinned by that alpha male influencer. And coming out to join is not a Fed agent. Not a Fed agent. So as these protests break out, eventually all through the summer, you're going to see more and more protests, I'm sure. If you haven't filled out your W-2 for George Soros yet, comrades, please turn in your W-2 for your George Soros checks to make sure that you have the proper tax withholdings held and you don't owe money next year. And Jasmine Crockett pins that not a Fed, and that's a 3 count. Not a Fed agent eliminated immediately. Jasmine Crockett takes him out, and now there's a pin on kick out. I thought that was going to be a pin on that op-ed writer by Mamdani. So we've got 5 folks left in here and 3 more to come out. And here comes one now. And it's that extremely online master of the reading, but not much praxis, the Blue Sky Communist. He will be coming out here and attempting to insert himself into the discourse in, I'm sure, a witty and pretentious way. Very self-assured is this Blue Sky Communist. I don't think, and not a Fed agent's kind of following him up there. That's an odd look. I don't think this Blue Sky Communist is going to be toting many cinder blocks either. Ice Goon getting some kicks on that Blue Sky Communist. So 6 folks in the ring, 2 still to come. Of course, the final 4 will get bonuses on our 7-week rally. And there is a pile driver on the Ice Goon by that New York Times op-ed writer, but he doesn't go for the pin. And Blue Sky Communist and op-ed writer now going at each other, switching back and forth. And it's Marco Rubio as our next to last entrance, the Secretary of Soullessness. Marco Rubio, of course, completely compromised himself, you know, as all the Republican Party has done since 2016. The 2016 challenge, of course, of many of these people sharing old pictures of themselves when they still had a little twinkle of soul in their eyes. And now they're completely compromised by Donald Trump. Marco Rubio is definitely one of the most compromised. Just a hollow shell of what was already a hollow shell. Hollow shell squared. And there's a pin on the Blue Sky Communist. Mamdani kicks out, and our last entrance is the Antifa Wine Mom. That Antifa Wine Mom is out, and she's got that camera for Ice Watch. She's swinging that camera right at that alpha male influencer. Let's go, Antifa Wine Mom. I am hyped, man. That Ice Goon is still in there. Let's see if that Antifa Wine Mom can get after the Ice Goon. And there's a bulldog on the Ice Goon by the Blue Sky Communist. And Antifa Wine Mom is locked up with the Ice Goon and slams him. And there's a pin. Where's the ref? There we go. That's a 2, and that's a 3. The Ice Goon taken out by the Antifa Wine Mom. I guess we know why they're so mad about these tactics, because the Antifa Wine Mom is effective and got rid of that Ice Goon right away. We are down to 7 folks. We've got Jasmine Crockett, the Blue Sky Communist, Zoran Mamdani, the Alpha Male Influencer, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, that New York Times op-ed writer, and Antifa Wine Mom. Our final 7. Of course, the final 4 will get bonuses. And Antifa Wine Mom getting some shots on the Blue Sky Communist. And there is a pin, Jasmine Crockett taken out by Marco Rubio. I was kind of pulling for Jasmine Crockett, but she's eliminated. So we're down to 6. Rubio resting in the corner. That Ice Goon's eliminated. Jasmine Crockett. And there's a roll-up on the Alpha Male Influencer. Just a 1 count. Really slow count there by Clarence Thomas. So we've got 6 folks left, and Zoran Mamdani got bonus points that first week. He's only one of these 6, I think, that got bonus points. I can't remember if New York Times op-ed writer got bonus points last week or not. We got a 2 count on the Wine Mom by Marco Rubio. Wine Mom giving it to old Blue Sky Communist. Now the Wine Mom and New York Times op-ed writer going after Mamdani. Natural rivalry there. Mamdani is out. He's hurting. Clarence Thomas thrown into that ladder. Looks like Hakeem Jeffries has gotten busted open out there. He's looking bloody. Of course, refereeing the Discourse isn't all that easy either. And there's a pin on that influencer by Mamdani, but only a 1 count. He goes for it again. There's a 2 count, just a 2. Alpha Male Influencer punches the Wine Mom in the face. Pretty on brand. Swinging neckbreaker there on Rubio on the influencer. New York Times op-ed writer nails Rubio, and then Mamdani kicks the op-ed writer. That's the Discourse. Everybody's punching left and right, and nobody rises above it, really. Wine Mom setting up one of those meritocracy myth ladders. There's a pin on Rubio. Kicks out at 2 on the influencer. Alpha Male Influencer has done pretty good so far. Wine Mom over the top rope, and then she nails that influencer. Looks like the Wine Mom knocked out that influencer. Mamdani was right there, but I think that one's going to go to the Wine Mom. You want to check that one too, Bob? Make sure we get the right points there. So we're down to 5. Alpha Male Influencer eliminated by either the Antifa Wine Mom or Zoran Mamdani. Mamdani tried to climb that ladder, and the Blue Sky Communist got him. So we've got our final 5. New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani, the Antifa Wine Mom, who are going at it. That New York Times op-ed writer, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the Blue Sky Communist. So once the next person is eliminated, the final 4 will all be guaranteed some bonus points. Building them up towards that Week 7 finale. Pretty slow count there for Blue Sky Communist on Rubio. I would expect that from Clarence Thomas, but not from Hakeem Jeffries. I guess the establishment respects the establishment. Now Rubio is just beating on the op-ed writer with that bat. pretty viciously. Oh, man, and there's a devastating spine breaker on the op-ed by Mamdani by the op-ed writer, and Mamdani is eliminated by that op-ed writer. He takes him out with a scathing verbal spine buster there. And Mamdani tries to roll him up, but he's eliminated. So we're down to our final four. It is the Antifa wine mom, the Blue Sky communist, the New York Times op-ed writer, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So we will see. And now that New York Times op-ed writer's got a sleeper hold on the wine mom, and she gives it up. She taps out, and he won't let go. He's still holding it. That Antifa wine mom has tapped out already, but that op-ed writer stayed on it. So she is eliminated. She'll get the 3 bonus points, and there's a pin on the op-ed writer. Only a 2 count. So good looking out by the Antifa wine mom. She got those 3 bonus points, but she was eliminated. We are stuck here with the Blue Sky communist, trying to get a little praxis, hopefully. Marco Rubio and that New York Times op-ed writer. And that op-ed writer's been looking tough tonight. He's fired up. He must have got some good cocaine this week. So, of course, Rubio, he is the man doing executing a lot of these deranged international policy decisions of Donald Trump. Rubio's the man who has to go out and talk them. And there's a pin on the op-ed writer with a quick count. Jeffries with a quick count, man. I don't know why Hakeem Jeffries would be still endorsing what Marco Rubio did, but that was a quick count. Blue Sky Communist has him up. Drop him over the top ropes, commie. Oh, not in the ring. This Blue Sky Communist, he seems smart, but he's really not that smart. That is a painfully slow count by Clarence Thomas, and a kick out on 2. These guys think they're very smart, but they're not that actually smart. And there's a roll-up. There's a 1 and a 2. No, there's a kick out, so that Blue Sky Commie kicked out. And he gets a punch on Rubio. Come on, man. I'm pulling for you. Obviously, oh, man, he just dropped him to the ladder. Obviously, I hate to share my opinion, but I'd much rather the Blue Sky Communist win because I do not like Marco Rubio. But here we are. And there's a quick count, and that's only a 2. That was almost it. Come on, Blue Sky Communist. I deactivated my account after the Rumble last week because I got sick of how insufferable the people on Blue Sky are. My apologies to anybody who loves Blue Sky. You just follow the wrong people, Raven Mac. Well, yeah, man, I'm following who's on there. And he's over the top rope. Knock him down, Blue Sky. Oh, and Rubio's back in, and it gets a punch. This Blue Sky Communist, man, come on, man. He's had to win right there a couple of times, and he can't do it. Whatever it is, he's too lost in his own delusions of intelligence. He can't. Now he's getting choked right there in the middle of the ring. He's probably going to tap out. Oh, he kicks out. Firing some punches. Come on, Blue Sky Communist. Oh, and he's dropped. I think this is Rubio's to lose, to be honest, because Blue Sky Communist is not that smart. And he doesn't have that killer instinct. You got to have that killer instinct to really close it down, like to really seal the deal, so to speak. And Rubio is like a tiny little weasel. That New York Times op-ed writer is dramatically stepping up and down the top of a meritocracy ladder, attempting to prove his point of why he has his position in society, I guess. I don't know. Rubio really seemed to crack his neck on that one, but this guy Communist is posing. Gets a kick in. Not really going for the kill like I would expect. Flexing now. Don't flex, man. Just pin him. Just beat him. And here we go. Pile driver on Rubio. That's what I want to see. Get on him for the pin now. Pin him. Pin him. Pin him. Get on him for the pin. Lay your body across him and defeat him. Now, do it now. Oh my God, what is wrong with this guy? Okay, Bulldog, pin him. Thank you, finally. And that's just a 1 count. Come on. So they're both staggering around. Maybe the Blue Sky Communist can't win this thing even if he wanted to. Maybe that's why he's so stupid, is because he knows better than to try. I get it, buddy. I get it. I don't want to vote for Democrats either. They suck. What are you going to do? Overthrow the government? Shh. Nah, man, we can't even fucking check out at the grocery store without being hassled. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate America. I hate America. Do we have any outright just anti-government blow up the Capitol types that can enter the discourse? Because that's who I want to vote for. Rubio nails him with that camera. Of course, Hakeem Jeffries and Clarence Thomas are your refs, and they both love Marco Rubio. Punches to the blue sky communist face. This one is going on long. Another long one, Bob. Another long one. We love them when they go long because it means it bores even us. Even we are bored by the discourse when it goes this long. Of course, this is long 37-minute long Rumble of the Discourse. The algorithm would never show you this much. It'll only show you a highlight. And Blue Sky Communist has Rubio up. Hold him, and there's it. Get on him. Why are you rolling around? Why are you diving? Come on, man. What are you doing? Pin it. What is going on, man? Is this dude drunk? Blue Sky Communist rolling around, grabbing at the air. Finally kicks him in the hip. What are you doing, man? And then he falls down. Punch to Rubio. Going back after Rubio. Rubio kicks him out. They're jumping around and missing each other like a couple of chumps. He's got Rubio in an armbar. You know that devastating armbar, that's always going to bring an end to fascism, an armbar. But he's clamping down on it. Now Rubio is locked up, pushed into the ropes, comes off. Oh, man, nice slam. Come on, Blue Sky Communist. Finish him off, please. I want you to win this thing. He's in control. Well, no, he gets kicked there. Rubio stomps him one time. Man, this one's really going long, isn't it, Bob? Do I have to finish it? Can I go get a Dr. Pepper, Bob? Okay, I have to finish it. I know. I'm just joking, Bob. And they hit each other and fall down. The Blue Sky Communist discoursing with Marco Rubio. That microphone ringing left and right. Kick to the face. Rubio punches him. Rubio's looking bloody, worse for wear, and he falls into that ladder. Hakeem Jeffries falls. Meritocracy is a myth. Punches to the Blue Sky Communist. Elbow to his knee. And there's a pin. And that's a super slow count and only a 1. Blue Sky Communist misses him, punch to the face. And there's a pin. Only a 2. And that one's a bit quicker. Clarence Thomas and Hakeem Jeffries definitely counting a lot quicker for Marco Rubio than Blue Sky Communist. And we're at the 40-minute marks, folks. I apologize for this going long. I know these guys aren't saying anything new. Over the top rope he goes. Blue Sky, punch him. Knock him. Why did you waited too long, guy. You waited too long. All right, you got him over. He's there. He's right there. Go hit him. Don't tinker with the ladder. Knock him out. Oh, my God. This Blue Sky Communist is so fucking stupid. And he still gets a shot on Rubio. Rubio misses the elbow. And there's a roll-up. And that was a quick count. Marco Rubio finally eliminates the Blue Sky Communist, who had 37 chances to win this thing. He's got him up for a suplex now and drops him on his head. A little too late there, Blue Sky Communist. Should have did that a little bit earlier. He did not get the win. So let's look at this replay. You can see they're in the midst of battle, and then it's a quick roll-up by Marco Rubio, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. So let's look at our results tonight. Getting the bonus points, 13 points at the top is going to be Marco Rubio. Blue Sky Communist, New York Times op-ed writer, got 7 each. So that means the Blue Sky Communist didn't eliminate anybody. He just kind of fucked off around it and got a 7 bonus points without eliminating anybody. What a fucking dumbass. 5 points to the Antifa Wine Mom. 3 points to Gavin Newsom, the Ice Goon, that alpha male influencer. 2 points each for Stephen Miller, Jasmine Crockett, Ghislaine Maxwell, Reply Guy, Pam Bondi, and Zoran Mamdani each got 1 point out there tonight. So our standings now after 3 events, 3 of 7 events at Mar-a-Lago guest still in first with 19. Marco Rubio in second. Free Thinker 1 point back. Donald Trump and Zoran Mamdani got 9. Luigi, that op-ed writer, and the Blue Sky Comedy, all with 8 points. The Immigrant Reply Guy with 7. Bernie Sanders, the Ice Goon, Antifa Wine Mom round out our leaderboard. And the second page of our leaderboard, you can see everybody else who has gotten points so far after 3 weeks of this event. There's a lot of people in there, but nobody has clearly became the champion of the discourse yet. So as always, this is sponsored by my Southern Gothic Futurism Patreon. I have about 71 supporters now. I lost a couple recently. Economic times are trying for everybody, so I lost a few. Jump on that link in the description and become a supporter of Southern Gothic Futurism. It helps support all it is that I do, which is preparing for what we do after the end times, because the end times are a myth, just like the meritocracy, and it's not. End times aren't coming, so some stubborn ass people are going to walk into the future anyways, and I'd like to be one of them. So that's what this is, Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. I am going to take these headphones off and put on my newspaper hat that Catbird made me, and I'm going to get in my Toyota Corolla Hybrid that I still owe a couple years on, and I am going to putter on home and go to sleep and hope that maybe the sun don't shine tomorrow, or if it does shine, it gets us one day closer to solving this horrible mundane dystopia we're in. So anyways, folks, we'll be back next week with week 4. This is your boy Dirk God Raven Mac signing off. Until then, salam.